Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. You are listening to a rebroadcast of a previously recorded show.
Well, I'm excited to welcome the program author, young adult author, Lauren Gibaldi. Lauren, thanks for calling. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, Lauren. Fantastic. Let's hear a little bit about your background and talk about your latest book.
Sure. I got a degree from Florida State. I'm from Florida as well. I live in Orlando. So I got a degree in writing and library science. So I'm currently a full-time librarian for children and teenagers, and I also write with HarperCollins for teenagers, which it's a lot of fun. And the book I'm talking about today is my second book, and it just came out this summer, called Autofocus. And it's about a girl who was adopted at birth, who's never known her mother. She died in childbirth, so she won't know her. Spoiler alert. And then, so when she gets a assignment for school to kind of describe her family, she goes out in search to get information about this mother she never knew, learns a lot of different things about her, and kind of has to decide if who we are is determined by who we're born to, or if we can change into different people by those who influence us and we're around.
All righty. So my first question is, because you said you were a librarian as well as a writer, did being orienting around being a librarian, did that inspire you to be a writer, or is it the other way around, or have you always been a writer?
Writing came first. I was always a writer. I wrote as a child, not really well. I have great diaries from when I was like 8 that describe my distaste for my brother. I've grown since then, and I do like him, which is great. But I've always kind of been a writer, which is why I majored in English in college. I've always been a reader, and I did a lot of freelance writing for a while, but it was all nonfiction for magazines and newspapers, and I liked it, but I kind of wanted to tell my own story, not a personal story, but like a fictional story. So I started working on that when I was an academic librarian for college, and I started working on it around then in my spare time. And then I went into public librarianship, and I think that kind of shaped me into a better writer, because I was around the age of the people I write about a lot more. Not that I use my teens at the library as inspiration. They would hate that. But I can actually see them and hopefully do a more authentic thing. And I want to make them proud and, write something that they'd like.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Lauren, I was reading your biography here a little bit, and it says you've been so many different things: magazine editor and English teacher. Mm-hmm. How's that transition going from teaching to writing to being a librarian? Has it been an interesting transition, or is it all kind of in the same wheelhouse?
It's all kind of similar in a weird way. Right after I got out of college, I was a high school English teacher for a year, and I liked working with the students, but I was not a great teacher, admittedly. I was good, but it wasn't my profession. I wanted to work with books and not worry about, the discipline aspect of it. So as I was getting my master's in library science, I worked for a magazine. I was an editor for that for a bit, and that's when I freelance wrote, and then I got into librarianship, and that kind of was exactly what I wanted. And in a weird way, I think all of my different careers affected one another and led me to this place where I'm incidentally doing two things. So it's been a kind of an easy transition, even though I had that panic moment of I didn't know what I was going to be or do. So I'm okay now.
Involving the whole librarian and then looking at writing these books, mm-hmm. Do you get feedback from your students that kids that come to the library and stuff about what your next work will be and stuff?
Sometimes. It's really funny because I'm kind of, I guess you could say I'm kind of shy about promoting myself. I'm not great at it. So I won't necessarily tell every patron that, this is my book. I'm standing next to it.
You need to do that. Then we'll be then we'll add New York Times best-selling author to your name. But go ahead, yeah.
Look at me. My coworkers love to do it, though. So if they see someone looking at my book, they'll be like, the author's just standing right over there. Or when they return it, they'll be like, did you like this one? Did you? And they'll be like, it was fine. And if they say no, then they're like, okay. But if they say yes, they're like, the author's right there. And thankfully, it's usually yes. I feel like if they said no, I would just cry. But so it's kind of a fun mixed world. But feedback-wise, I don't really get anything. My teens will tell me if they don't like something, which is funny. But everyone's very, very supportive in my community.
Alrighty. So I have one statement because I think this is going to be awesome for you. I think you'd be great on YouTube, not only for the sense because you got so much that you want to express, and I think that hearing you right now, you got more than what you can express in books. So I think having a visual platform like that, I think would be awesome. Then you can kind of center around more so your thoughts than promoting yourself, although promoting yourself is very important. So I would recommend looking into that as well. But anyways, my question being though is throughout all of your experiences, what would be like the major highlight that's kept you going? That's like been the major inspiration that's keeping you either being a librarian or a writer or both?
I don't know. Everything is different and exciting for me. I think every author can tell you the first time they see their cover is like, oh my gosh, it's a real thing. And like the first time you hold it, it's like someone's gonna read it one day, and that's been awesome. Just having people like oddly recognize me, which is I never expected that to happen. That's kind of affirming in a way. But in writing sense, I think some of the best things I've gotten are teens emailing me, or just anyone emailing me and just saying like, I enjoyed your book, or like I relate to it in this way, specifically the first one. And that, like, even when you get anything, you just hear someone saying like, it affected me, and you're like, that is why I'm writing, to affect people, for them to relate to something and to see themselves in literature. So that's a wonderful thing that I love of doing. And then librarianship, just I had working with kids and seeing them age and become into who they are. I have a girl who visited me at the library the other day who I'd known since she was about 13, and she's starting college, and I'm like, that's crazy, and I've seen her grow, and it's affirming to know that they'll still come back and say hi to me, and they become wonderful people. And I don't know, I think both are kind of the same in that it's nice having this gratification of seeing something you did affect people, and that feels great in everything.
Yeah, of course. I mean, being a digital artist myself, like taking my digital art from on the computer and then printing it out, let's say, as a canvas form, it's like your child, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you have somebody, like my first sale that I ever had, it was just so awesome. So like, someone bought this, someone's going to send this to their grandma and grandpa, or I can't remember what it was, but they were sending it to them as a gift, and I'm like, that is awesome. So yeah, I totally can relate. Thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, thank you.
What's new next on the horizon? Do you feel any new projects coming up? Any new books? What are you working on?
Yeah, I have a third book coming out with HarperTeen. It's not until February 2018 at the moment. It's called This Tiny Perfect World. All of my books take place in Florida because I live here and I like writing about what I know. So my first book takes place in Orlando. Second one is Tallahassee. Third one is Christmas, Florida, which is near Orlando. And it's about a girl going to a prestigious theater camp.
Very nice.
Stuff happens.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, it's nice to read about local. There's not a lot of Florida authors that actually write about Florida, so it's nice to. Yeah. Where I'm local here on the other coast, so it's nice to hear that there's folks writing about Florida.
Yeah, and Lauren, a question for you about library. I own a social media and branding business, and I coach people and I coach authors. How challenging it is to get your book in libraries. I had to ask that question. If I get an expert like you on the line of calling libraries, and it's becoming a new thing, is self-published and published publishers are reaching out to libraries to get the books in the libraries, right, for promotion and stuff.
It's to a librarian's discretion. Something coming from a big name publisher, a Random House, a HarperCollins, a Penguin. Does admittedly have an easier time going in because it's from, a known publisher. They have reviews in Kirkus, all of that. So that I'm not in acquisition, so I can't actually say, like, this is exactly what we do. But I do know the bigger names are pretty good and from that. And then, of course, like, indie publishers we want to promote as well. And also, even self-published. I know self-published is a little harder to get into just because you don't have the backing reviews and everything that other publishers might have, but it is possible. Some things that really do help is if someone requests the book, like if you are promoting it and you're saying like just go to your library and ask for it, Librarians want to get what people want to read. We don't want something just sitting on the shelf. So if people
Yes.
are asking for it, then like we'll buy it. And then other things that to look into are ebooks. They go pretty far. I know I work for Orange County Library System, and one thing we've developed is an ebook lending thing for patrons to check out. That's mostly self-published authors, so it's our way of promoting Florida authors. If they don't have a physical book to put in our system, because we only have so much space and all that, so you can do that. So stuff like that is always good to look into. And then just, honestly, the blanket mails of like, here's a postcard with my info. If you personalize them, we'll look at them.
See, I learned that from this fast track promotion I've been going through as a training, and I'm trying to help people implement these programs. But ebooks, you talked about exactly what this program said. And if your book looks like a published book, meaning if you have a self-publisher, you are more likely to get in libraries if you have something to promote, if you're able to go and do talks there, all those things. So thank you for validating all that. And what is your thought on self-publishing? Do you think it's a bad thing, or are you happy it's part of the business now?
No, I think it's great. It's another venue to get books out there, because some people just don't want to go. Like, publishing with a publisher is a lengthy process sometimes, and some people don't want that process. So go self-publish. You get your words out there, and if that's your ultimate goal, you just get it out there. And who knows how big it could get. I think it's absolutely fine.
All right, Lauren, best place we can find information on you. Thank you for the advice. Best place you can find information on you and purchase your book. Where can we go?
You can go to my website, which is laurengibaldi.com. Spelled out. Very simple. You can find out information on where to get the book. It's at your Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, or hopefully indie published bookstores, stuff like that. So if you have any questions, always feel free to email or tweet me. I'm online a lot.
Okay, well, thanks for calling. Take care.
Thank you so much. You too.
Oh, you're welcome. Bye-bye. You're listening to Author's Corner, powered by Life Improvement Radio, live from the Miami Book Fair, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own and shall not be construed in any way as advice from Life Improvement Radio. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our website. Personal perspectives expressed by the producers, writers, or editors will always be presented as such. Any rebroadcast or retransmission without the expressed written consent of Life Improvement Radio is strictly prohibited. Thanks for listening.